Chapter 9 of Virata Parva. Sairandri in the court hall. Sudeshna waited for a day or two. By then she heard that the brother was almost ill and in bed. He was suffering agonies because of his affliction. The queen sent for Sairandri. She said, "I hear that my brother Keechaka has brought some rare wines. I am feeling thirsty. Please go to his palace at once and bring me some wine from my brother." Draupadi was stunned. She did not dream that the queen too would become party to the evil schemes of Keechaka. A hot sigh escaped her. She said, "My queen, please do not send me there. Your brother has wrong ideas about me. He has already molested me with his advances. I do not want to go to his house. I came to you for succor. You have been protecting me for the last so many months. It is not right that you should undo all that by sending me to your brother. He will force me to obey him. I will not go there. I have no one to help me except you. Please be good to me. You are a woman. You must be kind to me, a helpless dependent. Please send someone else to the palace of your brother. Ask me to do anything else. I will be gladly doing it. But do not send me to the palace of Keechaka. He will insult me." Sudeshna was furious with her. She said, "I want you to go. I do not like the manner you talk about my brother. He is not the type of person who will molest women. You are just thinking up something to avoid what I am asking you to do. You will not be molested by him. He knows that my maids must be treated well. Go quickly and bring me some wine. I am thirsty." Sairandri had to obey her. She took in her hand the vessel of gold which the queen gave her and walked to the palace of Keechaka. He had been waiting for her coming. Looking at her approaching his apartments, he went to receive her. He spoke to her in a voice full of love. He said, "So you have come at last. I have been waiting for you since ever so long. Come, my beloved. It is not right that you should be standing. Look, I have prepared a bed for you. Come with me and rest there. Take me for your lover. Let us drink and enjoy this meeting of ours." Draupadi said, "My lord, I did not come here to be with you. I was sent by my queen to bring here some wine from your palace. Please hurry and fill this bowl of gold." Keechaka laughed loudly and said, "How now, my dear women? Now that you have come to me, do you think I will let you go soon? I will send the wine with someone else. You stay here. Please me, and then you can go." Keechaka came near her and tried to take her hand. With a frenzy born of fear, Draupadi pushed him to the ground and tried to run away from there. She ran in the direction of the court of Virata. Yudhishthira was there and she wanted his protection. Dropping the bowl of gold to the ground, she ran as fast as she could. Keechaka ran behind her. He grabbed her hair and threw her on the floor. He kicked her with his foot. Draupadi was desperate. With her hair floating behind her like a cloud, she ran to the court of Virata. The king looked at her. Yudhishthira looked at her. No one spoke a word. Bhima had come there by chance. He took one look at the scene. His eyes burned like fire. He breathed fire. He would have killed Keechaka on the spot. He began to uproot a tree that was near at hand. But Yudhishthira stopped him with a look. He said, "If you want firewood for your oven, do not break the branches from this tree. The wood will be too green. It will not burn. It is no use venting your energy on the tree. When the tree is dry enough, you can destroy the offending tree. The time is not ripe enough." Bhima understood what he meant. They should not spoil the future by hasty actions. He must wait. Bhima looked at the earth and stood silent. Draupadi saw all this. She was furious with Yudhishthira. She looked at the king and said, "My lord, how can you allow this to happen in your kingdom? I have come to you for protection. You must protect me from this man who is harassing me. I have 5 husbands, but they are not able to punish this man. They are silent. You are the king. There is no refuge but you. You must save me from ruin. I appeal to you." The king was silent. He could not do anything. The powerful Keechaka was the commander of his army. He could not afford to antagonize him. He did not dare to speak harshly to him. No one could do anything else but watch the entire proceedings. The king said, "I cannot pass judgment on something which did not happen in my presence. I saw only the end of it. Unless I know that the fault is entirely that of Keechaka, I cannot do anything. How do I know what provoked him to kick you? Perhaps he was justified. I do not know. Please go away from here." Yudhishthira was furious with the king for the spineless manner in which he tried to avoid the issue. His brow was wet with sweat. He had to control his anger. He addressed his dear wife and said, "I think it will be better if you go back to the apartments of the queen. Your husbands are sure to be aware of all that has happened so far. They are no doubt angry. They do not leap to your rescue since they perhaps think that the time is inopportune. It is not right that you should be angry with them because they did not hurry to your side to help you. Your husbands think that this is not the time to be angry. Please be patient. The time will come when all your troubles will be over. They do not come now because they do not want their long penance of the past so many years to go waste. They do not want to do the penance again. They expect you to cooperate with them and put up with this trouble for just 15 more days. You can then leave this city and go to your husbands. They will then be free to do as you please. You know that they are under a curse. That curse is to lift in a fortnight's time." Draupadi would not move from there. Yudhishthira once again remonstrated with her and said, "King Virata is a righteous man. It is not right that you should consider him unjust. You weep too much in the presence of men. It is not modest. Go back to the palace quarters. Your behavior is exaggerated like that of an actress. You must not stay too long here." Draupadi was touched to the quick by the word actress. She looked at Yudhishthira with burning eyes and said, "You are right, wise man. You call me an actress. You have every right to say that. But let me tell you something. Since my first husband is a dice addict, my other husbands have to be cowards because of him." Draupadi pushed the hair back from her face. She set her garments right. With a look of fire at the court in general and at Yudhishthira in particular, she strode out of the court. The Pandavas, who were ready to lay down their lives for her sake, had to keep silent and to keep their bravery and their anger hidden, since they had to prevent their identities from being known. Shri Krishnarpanamasthu. Chapter 10 of Virata Parva, Bhima and Sairandri. Draupadi returned to her apartments. She bathed herself. She gave way to her weeping. She sobbed as if her heart would break. Sudeshna came to her and sat near her. She said, "Why do you weep so? What makes you so unhappy?" Draupadi was angry with her. She said, "Knowing what would have happened, you sent me to your dear brother's palace, and now you ask me why I am weeping." She would not speak for a long time. Then she told the queen all that had happened. She said, "I am not worried. My husbands now know everything. They will kill your brother in no time. Sudeshna left her and went away, her heart full of fear for her brother's life. Draupadi sat there alone. How long? She knew not. She could feel only one thing: hatred. She hated this Keechaka. She decided that he should die, that he had dared to look at her. That was insult enough. He had to die. She was a flame. She would consume him. She would not eat. She would not sleep. She spent hours thus. At last, she decided on the course of action. That night, when everyone had gone to sleep, Draupadi got up from her bed and walked with determined steps towards the place where Bhima slept. She entered his sleeping quarters. He was there sleeping. Draupadi went and sat by his side. She looked at him for a long time. She roused Bhima from his sleep. He got up and sat on the bed. She spoke to him in a voice as sweet as the notes of the veena. She looked at him with love and said, "Bhima, my dear Bhima, how can you sleep when I am spending my nights and days in pain? Are you also as hard-hearted as your brother? How can you sleep as long as Keechaka is alive? How can you let me suffer and sleep as though nothing has happened? You are the only person to whom I can appeal. Bhima, please make me happy." Bhima said, "This is a rash thing you have done. If anyone sees you in my bed, your reputation and mine will go. You should not have come here. Tell me quickly, why have you come? Go away before anyone discovers our acquaintance." Draupadi sat silent for a while. Then suddenly she began to talk. She spoke to Bhima about how Keechaka had been harassing her. She told him everything. He listened to the whole recital. She continued and said, "You were there in the court. You heard how Yudhishthira talked. How can I go to him for help? I have no respect for him. He has no self-respect. He has no feelings. He can only gamble. He can do nothing else. You have always done anything I have wanted you to do. You love me. I can appeal to you and to no one else. I cannot eat and I cannot sleep until Keechaka is killed. I cannot ask Yudhishthira. I cannot approach our Arjuna either. Both Nakula and Sahadeva are lost in their brother. They will never do anything which will displease Yudhishthira. Only you will defy him and do what will please me. I have come to you for help. I have been suffering so much for the past so many months. I have never done menial service to anyone till now. But today I have to grind perfumes into the paste for the king and queen. Look at my hands. You remember how they used to be? Now look at them. Look at the corns that have been formed on my palm because of this constant grinding." Draupadi held out her hands to him. He saw her lovely hands. He saw her pink palms rough and coarse with corns. He put her two hands on his face and wept tears of pain. He then composed himself and said, "Listen to me, my dearest Draupadi. You know how much I love you. Have I ever refused you anything? But this time we must be patient. I would have killed Keechaka in the Sabha today, but for the timely advice of Yudhishthira. I understood what he meant. I am also not very happy as you seem to think. Do you think I have forgotten what has happened these few years? Do you think I have forgotten the court in Hastinapura? I am also counting the days when our freedom will dawn. We have to be very careful, my queen. The time of our hiding is drawing to a close. Half a month more and then I will kill Keechaka. I must not do anything rash now. If I kill him now, I will be recognized. We will have to go to the forest again if that happens. To avert that, I am asking you to be patient for just a few more days. Did not Sita, the beloved wife of Sri Rama, bear her troubles with great patience? Think of Damayanti. Think of the many queens who bore pain with patience. I promise you, I will kill Keechaka. It is not a difficult task for Bhima, who has killed Baka and Hidimba. I am only telling you that the time is not ripe enough. Please put up with these things for a fortnight more. Just a fortnight. Then I will grant you your heart's desire. When our exile is over, we can come out into the open. I will challenge Keechaka to a single combat and kill him. But not now. Yudhishthira has asked me to be patient. Draupadi refused to be convinced. She said, I did not know that you would be so heartless. I have no one now. The only way is death. If you do not kill Keechaka, I promise you I will drink poison and kill myself. Bhima was sorry for her. He made up his mind to do what she wanted him to do. He took her in his arms. He wiped her tears with gentle fingers and said, Do not weep, Draupadi. Do not weep, my queen. I cannot bear to see you cry. I will kill Keechaka. I will kill him tomorrow. You must meet him tomorrow and tell him that you will meet him in the dance hall which the king has built now. Tell him that there is a bed there and that you will meet him in the night. Make him come there. I will meet him and kill him. Are you satisfied? Please look happy. Please look happy. For the first time that night, Draupadi smiled. She said, I will do it, Bhima. I am happy now. You are the only brave and loving husband I have. I am grateful to God for giving you to me. Draupadi left him and walked cautiously back to her apartments. In the morning, Keechaka came to Draupadi and said, Did you see what happened in the court yesterday? The king is afraid of me. He cannot control me. There is no one here who will listen to your appeal. You must make up your mind and become my wife soon. Draupadi smiled a sweet smile. Keechaka could not believe his eyes. She said, I refused you so long because I am afraid of my husbands. I was afraid that they will kill me and you if they come to know of this. I have averted their suspicion. I think it is now safe for me to come to you. I have found a solution. If you promise not to tell anyone about it, I will suggest a place of meeting which will not be known to anyone. You know the new dance hall that has been built by the king? The girls will be there during the daytime. At night, they go away to their homes. It will be empty. I know that there is a bed there. If you come there alone tonight, I will be there waiting for you. But remember, no one should know about this tryst of ours. There in the hall tonight, I will give you what you deserve. Keechaka was crazy with love for her. He was so happy at the thought of having this woman. He agreed to all that she said. He said, Certainly, I will come alone. No lover will confide to anyone about his tryst with his beloved. I am grateful to you for being so kind to me. I will be at the dance hall at the time you suggest. He went away. Draupadi managed to meet Bhima and tell him that tonight was to be the night. Then she sat and waited impatiently for the night to come. 3 pairs of eyes were waiting for the end of the day. 3 pairs of eyes were waiting for the end of the day. A moment seemed like a year to all of them. Shri Krishna Pranamastu. Chapter 11 of Virata Parva. The dance hall, the trysting place. It was nearing midnight. Covering himself with a soft piece of silk like a woman, Bhima stole out of the kitchen. Draupadi was waiting for him. Together, they went silently to the dance hall. In the darkness, they felt their way to the couch. Bhima lay himself down. Draupadi stood behind a pillar. They were waiting. Keechaka had been waiting too, impatiently for the night to come. He spent all the time adorning himself. The day seemed so long to this victim of fate. Keechaka was handsome, but today he looked more handsome than ever. His handsomeness was like the final glory of a lamp that is just about to be extinguished. Keechaka entered the dance hall. In the darkness, lit up only by the starlight that was filtering in through the immense wood windows, Keechaka walked towards the couch. He saw a form lying down on it. He hurried towards the couch. He went near. He said, "After all, you have agreed to be mine. I am happy. My dear woman, if you only knew what torture it has been for me to wait for the night to come. I have hated the sun today as I have never hated before. Look at me. All the women whom I saw today say that I am looking extremely handsome. They do not know that it is my joy which has given me this beauty. I am dying for you. Please do not delay any more. Take me in your arms." Keechaka went near the couch and took the hand that was stretched out towards him. His was hot with desire. Keechaka found his hands grasped firmly. Like a flash of lightning, it came to his mind that this was no woman's hand. It was the firm grip of a man's hand. He saw the form rising slowly out of the couch. It was not a woman. Before he could think, he heard Bhima's voice. Bhima said, "So you think you are more handsome today than you were all these days? You must be, because you are going to meet the woman who has fallen in love with you. She is death. She has been courting you for this many a day, and you have refused to take her in your arms. She came to me and asked to help her to get her man. Here I am. Do not think that Sairandri spoke vain and empty words when she said that her Gandharvas are terrible like the thunderbolt of Indra. I am one of her husbands. Come, fight with me and reach the abode of death." Bhima jumped off the couch. He grabbed the perfumed hair of Keechaka and pushed him to the ground. The fight was on. Bhima caught Keechaka in his mighty arms and tried to strangle him. They wrestled for their lives. Both made animal noises. Each was bent on killing the other. Like two tigers in the forest, they roared at each other. Keechaka tripped up Bhima with his knees and felled him to the ground. But Bhima was undaunted. He rose up and resumed the fight. Bhima was stronger than Keechaka. His anger and fury doubled his strength. Keechaka was not prepared for the sudden attack in the dance hall. He was weak with desire. His knees had become weak. He had been deceived by a woman who had pretended to love him. Keechaka had sleepless nights. His mind had not been functioning properly for the last few days, ever since he saw Sairandri in the palace gardens. Poor Keechaka could not fight as well as he would have done if circumstances had been different. Bhima caught up the poor unfortunate Keechaka in his arms. He pushed him to the ground. He placed his knees on his chest. With his strong, powerful hands, which had the strength of elephants, Bhima caught hold of the neck of Keechaka and slowly strangled him. Keechaka could not escape this death grip. He was being slowly crushed. Life was slowly expelled out of his body. He gasped for breath. He beat against the powerful frame of Bhima. But Bhima was ruthless. All the anger and fury of Bhima were concentrated in the grip which held Keechaka. A few moments of futile struggle and Keechaka was dead. Bhima's anger was not yet appeased. Like a beast, he kicked at the dead body of Keechaka. He pummeled his body till the arms and legs were crushed out of shape. He pushed them into the body and the handsome head of Keechaka too. Keechaka was just a lump of flesh. Bhima brought a torch and he showed the body of Keechaka to Draupadi. He said, "Look, my queen, I have killed him. Are you happy now?" Draupadi's eyes were wild with joy. She looked like death itself in the form of a woman. Bhima put out the torch and told Draupadi that he would now go back to his apartments. He slipped quietly out of the dance hall. Draupadi was alone there. Her happiness was great. She summoned the guards of the dance hall. She told them, "Look at the fate of this man. He tried to molest me. I warned him about the wrath of my Gandharva husbands, but he heeded me not. Now Keechaka has been killed by my husband. Come and look." They brought many torches and entered the hall. What they saw struck terror into their hearts. They rushed out, announcing to everyone that the powerful Keechaka had been killed brutally by the Gandharva husband of Sairandri. The hall became filled up in a moment. The relatives and the 105 half-brothers of Keechaka hurried to the palace. The queen and the king came there and shed tears at the sight of Keechaka. The funeral rites were begun in the morning. They placed the body of Keechaka on the pall, and the brothers of Keechaka, Upa-Keechakas by name, were about to take the body to the burning ground. They happened to see Draupadi standing there, clinging to a pillar and watching the proceedings. Their anger against her was terrible. They said, "It is because of this woman that our dear brother is dead. He wanted her. Let him have her. Let us put her also on the funeral fire and burn her along with our brother. That will please his soul." They approached Virata with a request that he should grant them permission to burn Sairandri along with Keechaka. The king did not dare to say no to the powerful brothers of Keechaka. He allowed this act. The Upa-Keechakas caught Draupadi and tied her up. They placed her on the bier. They said, "It is but right that you should go with your lover. It is not right to forsake him because he is dead. You must follow him to the abode of Yama, where you have sent him." Draupadi set up a wail that could be heard all over the palace. She said, "Oh, my husbands, Jaya, Jayesha, Vijaya, Jayat Sena, Jayat Bhala, please come and help me. These brothers of Keechaka are carrying me to the burning grounds. They are trying to burn me along with Keechaka. Where are you? My dear husbands, please rescue me from this fate." Her voice reached the ears of Bhima. He shouted back and said, "I am here. I have heard you. I will take care of you." Bhima was in a terrible predicament. When he killed Keechaka, it was night. He could then come out in the dark, without being noticed by anyone. But now it was broad daylight. But he had to go. He leaped the wall of the palace and rushed towards the burning grounds by a shorter route. He reached the place before the funeral procession arrived there. He had uprooted a tree already. He attacked the Upa-Keechakas. He had to finish the work before he could be recognized by anyone. Bhima fought desperately. His fury gave him new strength. He struck at all of them. They had not expected anything of the kind. They did not know that they would be attacked. This surprise attack was too much for them. On top of that, they had a feeling that they were not fighting with a mortal man. They were afraid. Bhima killed every one of them. The burning ground was now strewn with bodies of the brothers of Keechaka. Bhima undid the ropes which bound Draupadi. He asked her to go back to the palace. He went back to his apartments. He bathed himself and went about his work as though nothing had happened. The city was terrified because of the events that took place. Everyone looked at Sairandri as though she were something dreadful. The king told his wife, This woman is too beautiful. Looking at her, all men are overcome with love for her, and then her husbands come and kill these unfortunate men. I am afraid it is too dangerous to have her in our kingdom. You must tell her that you cannot keep her here any longer and that she has to look elsewhere for a home. Sudeshna went to her palace and summoned Draupadi to her presence. She said, Sairendri, you can go wherever you please. You are too lovely. We are afraid to have you with us. You spell death to everyone. I have lost my dear brother because of you and my 105 step-brothers too. You are a cruel-minded woman. You have abused the love I gave you. You have behaved ungratefully towards me. I gave you a home when you needed one. You can go back to the Gandharvas you talk about. I cannot have you with me any longer. Draupadi said, My queen, I am sorry I have caused you unhappiness. I tried my best to avert this tragedy. I told you so many times that the consequences would be like this, but you would not listen, nor would your brother. But please bear with me for 13 more days, just 13 days. The curse under which my husbands are laboring will lift in 13 days. I will then leave you and go away. I am talking for the good of you and your king. The Gandharvas will be grateful to the king for his kindness and yours. I know that the sight of me is hateful to you who loved your brother dearly. I know that I am not loved by anyone here, but just for 13 days more, please put up with my presence. You will be glad about this later. Believe me. Sudeshna had to agree to the appeal of the women. She said, You are too powerful. We are helpless in your hands. I am appealing to you for help. Please do not make your husbands destroy us. I love my husband. My happiness is in your hands. You must protect us. Sudeshna wiped her tears with her mantle and walked away from the chamber. Shri Krishna Pranamastu.